Hello there, I'm Big Alias, and I hate this. I hate this so friggin' much. Oh my god, it sucks. All of it sucks. I'm genuinely pissed off about this. So basically, Mr. Beast and Logan Paul, KSI, the Prime Boys, have just launched a knockoff competitor to Lunchables. And on the surface, it feels like such a weird, goofy story, but actually, it's really maddening. So I made a video recently about Mr. Beast, and I talked about how, look, I don't like the guy, and I definitely think he lacks empathy. But do I think he's done anything evil? I don't know. I mean, I wasn't really there. I don't know. But now, I hate the guy. I really don't like the guy. I never liked the guy, and now I think I fully hate the guy. This is awful. And it sounds like I'm being hyperbolic and going too far with it. But if anything, it's purely, well, not purely, but largely because of the situation, the overall situation. We have three people in a room here. We have Logan Paul, KSI, and Mr. Beast in a room. And it just kind of makes me feel sick to my stomach, because it's the timing, the situation of it, all of that, everything sort of bundled into one is just really gross when you think about it. So Logan Paul, for the somehow uninitiated, we know what happened with Logan Paul, but he filmed a dead body in Japanese suicide forest. And I know, it's an old thing, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is, following that, KSI then saved his career, picked him up, like dragged him by his ears, and had this ridiculous fake-ass influencer boxing match that was clearly very much fake, in order to stop the narrative around Logan Paul being about the suicide forest thing and to make it about the boxing match. Even though he was the bad guy, the villain in this boxing match, it still took the narrative away from he's genuinely an evil guy. So that happened, and I didn't like that. But then they parlayed it into selling a fucking energy drink and using their names, and there's the popularity that they garnered from this ridiculous, stupid, fake boxing match to sell an energy drink to children. And if that's not bad enough, this could have been a moment where Logan Paul's like, oh my god, my career's just been saved, skin of my teeth, and I'm able to sell this energy drink. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. I should really take stock of things, and calm down and be a good person. No! He then allegedly scammed people with a fucking cryptocurrency, the stupid egg bullshit. Out of millions, he made millions scamming people with a cryptocurrency. And this guy is in a room with Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, who recently, again, I don't have to tell you, recently was accused of allegedly harboring a predator in his ranks, in his crew, and is currently being sued for awful work conditions that are so bad that they've driven people insane and that they are unsafe. These work conditions. So he has a negative light on himself. People are not happy about Mr. Beast currently. And rather than fessing up to it, rather than going away for a bit or even forever, you don't need to be making money anymore, you dope. But rather than going away for a bit, and taking stock of things, he's taken the same fucking route of taking attention away, just ignoring it, burying his fucking head in the sand, and being surrounded by not only people who are helping him sell a product to fucking children of all people, but these guys. To be honest, from what I can tell, KSI just sits there and just like, oh yeah, whatever, I don't really care, I'll just take the money. Which, in unto itself is bad, but at least he's not as evil as Logan Paul. But with these people, these guys, the guys who managed to get Logan Paul out of the Japanese suicide forest situation where he filmed a dead body and made a joke out of it. You want to hear about a sociopath? There's a sociopath. I'm not saying that Mr. Beast isn't. I mean, look at that smile. Yeah. That's not real. None of them are. He is damaged, very much damaged. But yeah, he's in a room with this guy, these two people who managed to drag someone out of a situation where he filmed a dead body and laughed about it to his child audience. And they dragged him out of it by having a fake influencer boxing match, and then parlayed that into an energy drink sale situation, and then scammed people. And there he is trying to redo that, trying to do it himself. He's trying to get a bite of that apple too. Except, Mr. Beast, I don't know how you couldn't have context for it. I don't know how you couldn't look at that and say, that's evil. What they did was evil, and I shouldn't want to do this. I shouldn't want to be these guys. I should want to be better. But no, rather than doing that, you're looking at what they did and say, oh, well, whatever for them, I'll do it too. It's disgusting. Absolutely despicable. And the lunches themselves, from what I can tell, they're just knockoff Lunchables. They say they're running this video, this ad at the moment, where they're like, oh my god, it's actually way better than Lunchables. Of course you're going to say that. Why wouldn't you say that? It would be one thing if they were better than Lunchables and the same price, but I don't know currently, but from what I can probably gather, they're not going to be the same price. There's going to be a markup on these. So a product tasting better and having better ingredients and being more expensive, I may have to cut this bit out if they're the same price. Yeah, okay, bro. That's the way that things work. That's the way that products work. You pay more for a better product. That's why would it be remarkable? Why would that be a reason to, to buy the product? But the most egregious thing about it is they're bundling a Prime in with these. A Prime energy. A fucking energy drink in a fucking Lunchable? Are you kidding? What? What timeline are we living in? An energy drink. To put that into perspective, here's the audience for Lunchables. My 2-year-old eats Lunchables. My fucking toddler of a child eats Lunchables. In my country, you can't buy an energy drink without being ID'd. You have to be not ID'd, but to have, the age check thing. If you buy a Lunchable, if you buy an energy drink. Is that what's going to happen in this country? If we get these Lunchables, are we going to have to be ID'd to buy a Lunchable? I stopped eating those when I was like 11, dude. Maybe 10. When I got to secondary school, high school. That's when I stopped eating Lunchables. And there's going to be a fucking energy drink product. That is disgusting. I'm marketing it at kids. I mean, they're already, Logan Podcast, I've already talked about how evil they are with their, they're selling energy drinks to children and marketing the energy drinks to them. But this is a step further. This isn't just an energy drink. This is a kids meal. This is like bundling an energy drink with a fucking Happy Meal. It's basically the same thing. A Happy Meal is aimed at a child, but an adult can buy one if they want. And the same can be said for a Lunchable. They're comparing them to Lunchables. I don't know how this is legal. I genuinely don't know how it's legal that they're doing this. And that brings me on to my final point. Something I just glossed over for a moment here, which is I get the feeling there's going to be a lot of conversations, a lot of reanalysis on things that have happened. We've been through the influencer phase, but I'm now noticing a little bit of a tear down on these influencers, and I'm happy about it. I'm glad this is happening. Just as this was happening, Marcus Brownlee, MKBHD, I believe. It's so weird. I actually watch his videos, but I still don't know the anagram off by heart. But yeah, Marquez is under hot water right now for having an app that just gives you wallpapers and costs $50 a year on a subscription service. And I think the big thing with that is the hypocrisy of it. He's always been someone who's been very consumer friendly, and I care about the consumer, etc. So to then sort of sell a wallpaper pack for 50 quid or $50 it does seem egregious, and it does seem wrong. So if you're wondering, it's not that much, a lot of it is the hypocrisy of it. But that's the thing. This is something that's been happening a lot. I've seen a lot of videos popping up on my YouTube about the sponsors that a lot of these YouTubers take and whether they're a scam or not. Austin Evans and people like that. Whole video essays about, are these scams? Is this a scam? Is this a scam? And in a lot of cases they're not. But this reanalysis that we're doing, I think, is going to be a big part of YouTube and the overall sort of commentary of the internet going forward. And I think it needs to be. This sort of smacks of the Twitter ban in Brazil. It may seem disconnected from that, but it's sort of the same thing. If you have a voice, if you have influence, Musk had more influence than most people on the planet, then we need to start looking at ways to sort of stop that from being used for bad, because eventually it will. All things are, you give people sort of public access to other people, and eventually what happens in every scenario is that people use that for bad. And this, we're still sort of going through, when compared to what used to be mainstream media, we're going through sort of an infancy at the moment, and something that happened a lot with TV, a few decades in, and advertisers on TV and what have you, is that we did have to reanalyze that stuff. You were not allowed to use subliminal messaging. Initially, you were allowed to use subliminal messaging in adverts, and they had to stop that. You can't use purposely addictive material other than things like sugar and stuff like that. But for example, Coke used to use cocaine. You can't do that anymore because that's not fair. It's not fair on people, and it's going to have irreparable damage on people. And I think that this is something we need to start looking into in terms of these influencers. Obviously, we had this whole hashtag ad thing, where it's like people have to disclose when they're doing an advertisement. That's a start. But I think we're going to see a stronger push. Following this Brazil ban of X, I think, this is going to trickle its way to YouTube influencers, Instagram influencers, Facebook. I'm selling Confederate flags with my name on them. This crackdown, I think, is going to happen.
The PlayStation is only $149, and you can also get leading titles